Hi everyone, I'm making another video here. It's my 1-year update for my vitrectomy for floater surgery that I've been posting multiple videos about, and I promised a 1-year update. We're just about 1 to 2 weeks shy of a year from when I had the surgery, so felt it was timely to go ahead and post a video. So I'm going to keep this relatively short because fortunately there has not been much of a change. There's not really a whole lot to report since the last video I made, but just to kind of summarize sort of where I was at. Eye health very good at this point. No major problems. None of the major complications that could arise from the vitrectomy have happened, and overall my eye seems as healthy as it's been. I mean, no real problems with it. Vision is fine. Over time, the red spots and blood that were in my eye have pretty much got, I mean, they were mainly gone the last time around. They pretty much are all gone now. It just took some time to sort of resolve, and now it really has. I mentioned in previous videos that I had some black spots in the peripheral of my eye. Those have not gone away completely. I do not expect them to. They're similar to floaters, but different in the sense that they don't float around the eyes. So I would use the term dots or floaters, but they're really not comparable because they're clearly something different. Floaters, float around the whole eye. When you move, they move. These are just stationary in my peripheral. It's got to be some type of blood clot or some type of debris that got stuck in the eye that's there, but over time, it has pushed further and further out of my vision. I mean, when I first got the surgery, they were there just like floaters would be all the time, sort of in my vision. Then they kind of pushed back, and I would only really see them when I was looking out the corner of my eye. And now I don't really notice them that much at all. I mean, yeah, if it's really bright out, you can see here in the office, we get a lot of sunlight, and sometimes when I'm looking around, I'll notice them, but for the most part, not so bad. So not, like your traditional floater that you can see all the time. I'm just going to zero in an awkward moment on my eye just so you guys can see, what it looks like here post-surgery about a year out. So, this is the eye I had it on. So as you can see, I mean, there's, those are veins in the corner of my eye. That's not blood. Originally, this portion of my eye had been very bloody, and the eye, looks pretty healthy and good. So I had again, almost 1-year follow-up with my retinal specialist at home, not the one who performed the surgery, but I've been having periodic checkups with a different doctor just to make sure I get an unbiased opinion on how everything's looking. He seemed to think everything was fine. There were no problems reported. Made me feel pretty comfortable about it. Actually is recommending the next follow-up that I do with him to be a year out. So that kind of speaks for itself, kind of how he feels the eye has progressed and what the risks are at this point. I mean, obviously, if something comes up, I'll go in and get it checked out. But at this point, the next appointment that I have is a year from now in mid-August next year. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. The only other thing I would say is that his take on developing cataracts from the surgery, his take is that the risk increases with time. So most conditions that could arise from this, most of the complications, I would say, and he would say would decrease with time after the surgery. If you don't have a retinal tear, don't have some other complication, with the surgery, you would think that over time the chances of that arising would be pretty minimal, whereas with cataracts you would say that it would increase because of gas bubbles in the eye. The doctor who performed the surgery seemed to think that cataracts risk was minimal, but again, this was an unbiased opinion from my local doctor here, so that's something that I'm going to keep an eye on. And basically that just comes about, well, anyone can develop them. You would get checked out just if your vision starts to get a bit blurry. So obviously I'm going to take that very seriously going forward over the next year and pretty much for the rest of my life. But again, based on the fact that he doesn't want to see me for another year, it indicates to me that it's probably not something that's going to happen anytime soon. And fortunately for me, I've got my other eye did not have the surgery on, and that's going to be easy for me to kind of compare my vision over time and say, is something going on here? I can easily tell, this is much blurry or whatever, what have you. So, that's really where I'm at. I mean, I'm pretty upbeat about it at this point. I mean, when I first had the surgery, leading up to it, was pretty nervous about it. The immediate benefit of it was a little subdued. I was having some vision issues, not blurry, but just not clear vision, and the clearness has really improved over time. I would say, about 6 months out, saw some real improvement, and now it's looking pretty good. I don't notice too much except for some of the peripheral issues that I have, but I mean, really, 80-90% improvement in vision. That eye. Still have some floaters in my right eye, but as I mentioned earlier, I notice them less because I'm not moving my eyes around as much. And, when you have one eye that's pretty clear, it just makes walking around outside, makes staring at the computer so much easier. It's unbelievable. So that's, really where I'm at. I don't have much else to report other than from last time all seemed well and progressing as I hoped it would. So been getting a lot of questions in the comments boxes, so please feel free to do that. Happy to answer any questions, but I would just say kind of scan through them. If you have questions about things like cost or just generally how my vision is, I would say read through the other comments and or watch the video, because I explain it pretty in-depthly. But if there's a more specific concern, definitely reach out. I benefited a lot from the YouTube videos. Prior to doing this, I felt like I learned a lot from people who've actually gone through this, and I'm just basically trying to pay it forward. So probably won't post another video for quite a while, at least 6 months, maybe another year even, but I'll try to do a 6-month update. If I'm getting a lot of comments and getting a lot of feedback, I'll let everybody know how I'm doing. But otherwise, 1 year out, doing pretty good, and hope everybody is enjoying the summer. Take care.